Ross, Denise, Arthur, Mike and Chris. Councillor Dick, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for the welcome back. It's therapeutic to come back to work.
Yes.
I may not have thought so before my operation.
We know you love us.
But now it seems therapeutic. I won't speak long. There's no doubt that you've detected that my voice is not the same as it was, and that's a result of the surgery I went through. Mr. Mayor, I welcome this document and the opportunity for further discussion. Like Councillor Stewart, I have to say that I do want to see some advancement on the Amity project at the Reeves Road area and the Reeves Road flyover. The reasons why it was noted as deferred in the by the Auckland Transport Board, and the reasons for that are not convincing. For 10 years, the Reeves Road flyover has been considered hugely important to our area. And I note that Councillor Wood has picked up on the enthusiasm for tolling in the Howick ward. And I suspect the reason for that is because most people in the Howick ward, Pakuranga, Botany and Howick, actually find their employment internally, not in the CBD. They find employment in places like Highbrook, in East Tamaki,
That's right.
and somewhat further afield. So they're not great users of the motorway, but they are great users of the Pakuranga Road, and as Councillor Stewart has rightly pointed out, the busiest urban road in the country. And people were expecting some congestion relief around the Pakuranga town centre. And I will continue to advocate, and I hope that I get the opportunity again to advocate for the Reeves Road flyover, because it seems to me that Auckland Transport, and I note the talk about the prioritisation of roading projects and transport projects by Auckland Transport, and I'm surprised that this has been so important for 10 years and yet no longer seems to be as important. And yet nothing has actually changed, and in fact the problem identified by Auckland Transport as being on SEART, the Southeastern Arterial Route, is not the problem. The problem is actually around getting from round Pakuranga Road and onto Te Rakau Road, and then onto SEART. So the problem is not the problem is not on SEART, but getting onto SEART as the road is currently configured. So, Mr. Mayor, I look forward to continuing dialogue on this as one of the major transport infrastructure projects that is available to us to relieve congestion in an area which has a population of greater than Dunedin. And so this is a huge area for us, a huge area of employment, of economic activity, and so asked for support on ensuring that we move ahead on this particular project. And I look forward to seeing advocacy from ourselves as a council to Auckland Transport to continue with this. It has the support of local MPs, it has the support of the local board, and it certainly has the support of Councillor Stewart and myself.
Thank you, Councillor Dick. Councillor Ross.
Thank you, Mayor. I think this is a really good budget proposal, and I take my hat off to you, take my hat to Teresa and Phil in the mayoral office. I think it is an improvement on the presentation of a couple of months ago, and I think it hits a lot of the nails on the head. However, like Councillor Wood, I'm really interested to see the attachments, because the devil was possibly in the detail. I just want to work through an example on a $3,000 rate bill, which would be pretty typical of Albert Eden or Epsom, etc., any of those inner suburbs. Under this proposal, a 2.5% rate rise would on the surface be $75, but in reality, because of the business differential proposal going out to 20 years, it would equal 3.25%, about $98. The $99 transport levy equates to a rate rise on that sort of figure of 3.3%. So if you add 3.3 and 3.25 together, for a resident in Albert Eden, the rate rise will be about 6.5%. We went out and consulted on 3.5%, which, as we know, because of the business differential proposal we had at that time, was based on 10 years for the differential to be brought down to our objective, was a rate rise of approximately 5%. I am concerned that this proposal is now really showing that we are asking a rate rise of 6.5 when we went out and said residents it'll be about 5. So I do want to, I'm going to hold my endorsement of this until I do see the details, but we're effectively raising the rates on what we went out and consulted as a proposal, and that is an increase, a substantial increase. I certainly think the transport levy is a way to go, and it's a way of certainly solving some of the immediate problems, but the attachments and the detail of where that money is going and what it's affecting other budgets is certainly to be seen. But I just wonder why we went out and consult on 3.5, as I say, which for a residence was about 5, and now we're actually proposing, the mayoral proposal, which may be our proposal, was 6.5%. That's a jump of another 25% in what we consulted on and said we would propose for residents. And I think we need to be a little bit wary of that, because we are backing down on what we went out to consult on. Thank you.
I think as we shape the discussion over the next few days and into the 7th and 8th, what we actually consulted on was $300 million extra dollars of raised revenue a year. We gave them 2 choices. We are actually saying to our community now, well, you told us you actually wanted to do that, and second, you gave us a pretty good steer on how you wanted to raise it. And so we've got a couple of choices here. We don't do it. We wait 3 years. We could not do it. Still have their rate increase. But Aucklanders, despite some of our views, have actually been really clear. They do really want to get a hold of this transport stuff, and they can actually see what it's going to take. And they're prepared to pay. So, Councillor Clough, I know that you could interpret it that way, but the underlying commitment was to actually, on transport only, sort it out. We will back you, and we will pay. Now, that's counterintuitive, actually. But that has been the message, and I'm prepared to listen to that. You're absolutely right. Over the next, there's a lot of detail in behind that, and over the next few days, we'll work out, the specifics of that. But I'm just totally listening to Aucklanders. We've got Councillor Denise.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. It's always good when you do get the numbers and things get a little bit more concrete progressively. I've just come from, as you know, Mr Mayor, Tamaki Redevelopment Company announcement where 2,800 homes are being transferred from Housing New Zealand to Tamaki Redevelopment Company, and the talk in the 2 minutes that I had before I had to race back here from developers and from other community housing providers is that now they know, now the numbers are there, the detail can be worked out and the real conversations can begin. And so too it is today. I am looking forward to working up the proposal as it stands. Thank you, Mr Mayor. We do need to understand the implications here, and there are many. The interim transport levy is a bit of a game changer. Some of it good, some of it could be interesting. I'll use the word interesting. So until we work up this proposal more, I'll reserve comment on the likes of library hours and parks and business differential. And Rodney road ceiling. Where's Penny Webster today? It'd be very easy to write her speech for her right now. We've all heard it multiple times, and good for her. So I would like to echo a little bit of Councillor Wood's comments on the raw cost to ratepayers. So when we do talk about working up the particular implications of this proposal, there will definitely be a raw cost to ratepayers, and Councillor Clow, you've just said the same. There may have been discussion before I arrived here, Mr Mayor, but I will be interested over our next few days before decision making to gauge my colleagues' comfort levels on not having gone to the public with this particular proposal. I'm not sure what my comfort levels are, to be honest. Under the old proposal, my area was facing average residential rate increases of 9.6%. And so when you add this on top, even back down at 2.5% average of all rates, under that proposition, 9.6 will still be heading upwards. Councillor Fletcher, you rightly point out that those with big CV rises don't necessarily have the income to match what they will face come July. And I've just come from Glen Innes, as I've said, 55% CV rises there, Point England 62. Massive numbers. So given this, I'm even more uncomfortable now with no rates transition. That's something that I'll be wanting to get some more information on, and possibilities any way forward in that regard. My community will not be the only community with massive pressure, and Albert Eden, both councillors and local board have been very vocal about the pressure in that part of town. So we're looking for, as someone said, good decisions for Auckland, but specifically good decisions from us for Aucklanders, because household pressure will be a very real issue for us. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Arthur.
Thank you, Worship. First of all, I want to congratulate everybody involved what we've done here. I mean, this is all the staff from Stephen down and the councillors. And to Stephen for the work that he's done. And I know you've taken a lot of crap from around this table at times, mate, but you've put up with it and you've really delivered here. Your Worship, I think we've come up with something that's acceptable to everybody, hopefully. I know there are issues there. For me personally, I want to thank you for the transport issues to do with Otahu. We were interested in that. To see that there's been a change of thinking towards the bids, and bids are extremely important as far as I'm concerned and what they do for our city. And we don't want ghettos, we want strong bids out there. And for the backing of Common. I was a supporter of tolling and still am. And I've said many times that thousands of people come into Auckland every day from outside Auckland and use all the facilities and the infrastructure we have, and they don't pay 1 cent towards it. And I saw that as a way of collecting some revenues towards that. So I'll leave that on the table. But my big concern has always been to do with the rates as we approach 20 suburbs in Auckland touching $1 million each. And how the elderly are going to pay this as we go forward. And I've proposed probably transfer fees in the past. And I really believe that it is time for us, or for NZLG, to have a serious look and put a proposal to government. Because the situation is not going to get any better, it's going to get worse. And the population of Auckland's elderly will continue to grow. And how will they pay their rates based on the value of their properties with fixed incomes and low incomes, different to what they were getting when they were working and able to live in these properties in suburbs? So I just put that on the table and say again, congratulations, I think we've done a great job here, and hopefully our public will accept it, and we'll be interested to see what the details are so we can iron any kinks. But it shows that we've endeavoured to listen to the people. We don't give them everything they want, but together we've been able to come up with something that hopefully will be acceptable. Thank you.